Hey, welcome. My name is Daniel, and this is Metal Sharpens Metal, the place where I analyze heavy music from a Christian worldview. And yes, it is Christmas time. It is the week before, the day before, the eve of Christmas Day. So you know how it is. I am heating up as we speak. This is probably making OSHA very unhappy right now.
Why are we doing this?
Because it's better, because it's more special.
We are going to have Christmas cheer, whether by force or by choice. And right now it's by force mostly. So anyway, I'm excited to present to you O Come, Emmanuel by the band For Today. Hang on a second. I didn't think For Today wrote Christmas hymns back in the 1600s or whenever this thing was written. You are right, intrepid listener. They did not. They are a modern Christian metal band who decided to turn this song into a heavy Christian fun rendition of the original song. So they've got their own verses, their own extra lyrics and stuff like that, but they keep some chorus stuff consistent. It's very good. So anyway, let's go jump in. Here we go. Classic. The sweeps, like that's classic For Today. Woo! Okay. The little dissonant chord. Oh, this is such a good little verse build thing. Yep. I love that clean voice. I never knew who this guy's name was, but sir, you have my congrats for God giving you a really good voice. Yeah, gotta get a little thrashy. Yes! Blast beats to two-step. Can't go wrong. He's got such a good metalcore, hardcore type voice. Oh man. That bass line in the back is yeah, carrying this really nicely. Whoa. All right, hang on. I want to go back because that buildup is cool, and I'm like talking about the bass. We need to also listen to the words, okay? So here, let's scoot back. Okay, here we go. Because he is spitting bars. He's getting through a lot of lines right now. Oh, my heart is soaring with the eagle's nest. So dang good. think we're ending with a breakdown. I don't really remember, but it feels right, especially for this band.
The time is now. Take your victory.
Oh, yeah. Da-na-na.
Bring redemption. Take your victory.
Just dumb caveman breakdown. Oh. Oh man, that's reminding me of something. That was a cool little part. Almost too much energy at the end of the song. You almost want to hear the chorus one more time after they did that to you. But yeah, the bell outro, that's great. That is a great take on that song, a great version. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, awesome songwriting. They really made those intra-verse sections work really well because they had the big kind of like, boom, we're jumping right into the song, but then they brought it down with the big open notes, just stayed open. The drums are kind of, keeping that groove. The vocals are almost rapping, like that was almost hip hop. Such a good build into the chorus too. It was giving you all the reasons why you want to rejoice, rejoice, because Emmanuel shall come to thee. So, people have made Christmas hymns into metal versions, and they just kind of make it heavy, put in the down-tuned guitars and some chugs, and there you go. But they made their whole song around it, and they made it their own song, and then they added all their own parts. Really liked that. So yeah, these guys were kind of the modern anthem for every kid who thought Christianity was merely old church ladies and flannel graphs and potlucks. All great things, by the way. Not going to diss on any of those. I think every church should have a little bit of that. But For Today blew that idea out of the water, expanded the scope of it to include things like convicting call-outs right before their super brutal hardcore breakdowns, and really intense vocals. Their lead singer is Matty Montgomery. He was a huge feature of this band. I think he's officially been dubbed the patron saint of Christian toughness when it comes to songs about spiritual warfare and God's glory and things like that. So he had some great musicians behind him too. I mean, those guys weren't slouches, but yeah, Matty was the one preaching on stage and just amping people up and getting them excited to sing about God, which was something that was kind of hard to do back in the day in Christian metal scenes, and even in the non-Christian metal scenes. But I will say that For Today was never my absolute favorite band of the Christian metal bands back in the day. They had some awesome bangers. I loved their album about, oh shoot, dang it. Do I have any of their stuff? Oh, I freaking do. Guys, I've got their stuff. I really liked their album Portraits back in the day. That was like peak For Today for me. But I found myself getting a little kind of exhausted by the lyrics sometimes, because they just were trying to just always bring you up to a spiritual level 10. Like there was kind of no in between. And I know some of you are probably looking at me like, what are you talking about? That's the whole point of metal, is to bring you to the 10. You're right, but I think that sometimes mature metal can also include other parts that discuss, everything 1 through 9. So I liked these guys. They were very encouraging and motivational, but sometimes there was a big emphasis on like signs and gifts in the believer, and like, breaking the chains of the devil and oppression and things like that. And it just never fully connected with me in the place where my faith currently was, because mine was a little bit less on like miracles and signs and things like that. And I was trying to just learn about the Bible and God, and not saying that those people don't do that. I'm probably going to offend some people. I'm a cessationist, if you want to just cut to the chase and go look up what that means. That doesn't mean that I don't think God does any miracles today, or that he can't or won't or anything like that, but I don't think it's nearly to the level of what a lot of these preachers today talk about. And many of them talk about prosperity and physical wellness as being a sign of how strong your faith is. That's obviously where it gets really heretical. I don't think Maddie would agree with any of those guys, then or today. But yeah, that's kind of the corner of Christianity that I saw these guys fitting in, and it seemed a little bit to overemphasize some of that stuff. I don't know. I have, I guess, a picky mind sometimes, and I'm trying to now explain it to you while I'm burning up under 1,000 Christmas lights. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going exactly, but I did kind of drift away from the band because of the association. Fast forward to like last year, I think, or maybe this year, that's when I heard this interview with Maddie Montgomery and heard some really encouraging things. He has been a pastor for a number of years now, I think, and the interview was on Kingdom Core podcast. You should go check those guys out. There's no way you know about my channel and you don't know about their channel. But in case there is anyone that I'm catching with that net, go check out Kingdom Core. They've got a lot of great interviews. But yeah, he actually said in that interview that he kind of differs with his interpretation of spiritual warfare that he had back in the day, and how he understands it now. He's not taking a passive role today, but he sees it as much more like Jesus is going to deal with this. I don't have to be the one to like deliver this person from a demon or, make their leg grow long enough so that they can walk evenly. He's putting a lot less pressure on himself and the internal motivation that he can drum up. And I think that's good. I think that's a good thing. I think he's becoming more mature and he's just depending on Christ more. So yeah, back to the song. Let's go through and look at some of their lyrics and see the references that they were making. Yeah, one line I wanted to talk about is, I see the fire that inspires us to hope again. And hope, I think today gets interpreted as wishful thinking. Like, I wish that this thing would happen, or I wish that this would have gone differently.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
But the way that the Bible presents hope is something that you are so certain about that it is giving you energy because you know that it's going to happen. So it's not like a question of if the thing is going to happen or anything like that. It's just like hey, I'm waiting for it. I'm trying to be as patient as I can right now, but I can be patient because I have hope that God is going to do this thing. This reference he has here to ransoming your captive sons. For those who don't know, ransoming is an act that was outlined in the Old Testament. I think it's in all kinds of other literature as well, but basically buying somebody out of a debt of servitude. Ransom captive Israel was from the original version of O Come Emmanuel. So yeah, they made a little callback there. Really like that. And ultimately the Old Testament and that song are pointing to what Jesus did in the New Testament, where he was sent by God as the ransom for sinners. He was the payment. He was the money that God paid for to make sinners righteous before him. So Maddie here says we were lost, dead in our selfish ways. And that reminds me of Ephesians 2:1-3, where Paul says, "And you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath, like the rest of mankind." Calling it our selfish ways is a little bit of an understatement, but yeah, that is how Paul describes us before we are saved. So then the main point of the song, Emmanuel, that is a name, that's a title that was given to Jesus. The first reference was in Isaiah 7:14, I believe. And then that was quoted in Matthew 1:23, where he says, "Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel." And then Matthew adds in parentheses, which means God with us. That is the call. That is the prayer of this song. Gives me chills. The melodies, the lyrics, like I mentioned, oh man, this is got to be my favorite Christmas song of all time. The original hymn. This version is amazing, and it's one of my favorite metal versions of any hymn for sure. But yeah, the original O Come Emmanuel, top of my list. He's got this reference down here to the key of David, not the King of David, or not King David, but yeah, kind of a cryptic reference if you're unfamiliar. But basically, David was, despite his flaws, a very good king, one of Israel's favorite kings, and Jesus came from his lineage. So the Messiah was promised to be the Lord of David and actually come from David's household. So when they refer to Jesus as the actual key of David, he is the key who has access to open and close the door of salvation. That's a very cool little reference to leave in for sure. Because another one down here is, I can hear creation cry. And Romans 8:22 says, for we know that the whole creation has been groaning together in the pains of childbirth until now. There's a sense of pain, there's a sense of waiting and required patience, because the thing that creation wants isn't here yet. But yeah, the heart of man and creation as a whole are groaning and crying out for justice to be done, and for God to sum up all things under his righteousness as the righteous judge. And then right below, every eye will see. Revelation 1:7 says, behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all tribes of the earth will wail on account of him. Even so, amen. So yeah, really, really good song. And these are just a few of the references. Like, I'm sure you can find a whole lot more. These are just some of the ones I wanted to point out. So yeah, not better than the original Christmas hymn or anything like that, but still a Christmas song that slaps. I've made the joke to some of my friends that when people add choruses or refrains or whatever to existing hymns, when Christian artists try to kind of enhance them and make them their own, it feels a little bit like, when I'm being as mean as possible, like they're using crayon to add to the Mona Lisa, and they're like, I'll fix it, I'll make it a little better. Yeah, so most of these hymns don't need any of that treatment. Please stop doing that treatment. And you know who I'm talking to. None of you are watching this video, but if you were, you would know. You are guilty of it. Random CCM artists that I don't like your versions of songs. But I will say, For Today does not fall in that camp. I think they made this song their own. They did a very good version of it. Had a lot of really good references to the oppression and the slavery that the world has been in under sin since the fall of Adam. And now Jesus coming to correct that as the final Adam. Not the second Adam, because there's not going to be a third one. As my pastor says, he is the final Adam. So that is what we have to look forward to. Christmas obviously is a representation of that, and it's just a beautiful thing. There's a concept I wanted to bring up that some pastors and Christians today have been bringing up, which is that worship is warfare. It's a concept where every time we are worshiping and singing, giving praise to God, praying to him, reading his word, discussing that with our families, things like that, we are pushing back on the forces of darkness, the spiritual forces of darkness, the principalities and powers of hell and Satan's domain and all that stuff. That they flee when we are praising God, when we are quoting his scriptures, as Jesus did in the wilderness. That is a big part of how we are called to fight against these forces. We are not called to draw a physical sword and go, hack at demons like in Constantine or something like that. We are called to praise and worship God, trust in him, pray to him. Yeah, I see this song and a lot of Christian metal, like solid Christian metal, as being one way that we can actually do that. One way that we can participate with the Lord in his holy mission to vanquish evil and to sing a song while he's doing it. There's lots of concepts in Lord of the Rings and some other places where God is singing over us. He is singing to creation. He is singing to make creation. Narnia, C.S. Lewis even references in a way how Aslan does that when he's creating Narnia. So yeah, these are the types of things that I think those with spiritual eyes to see will be adrenalized heavily by. And so I hope that you can use that this Christmas season to continue to praise God in spite of whatever is happening, in spite of whoever is against you, and knowing that he will finally sum up all things. Every eye will see when he comes and sets all things right. So yeah, I hope you are having a lovely Christmas season. This is going to be my last video until the new year. I'm going to take a little break. So enjoy time with your family, reflect on God's grace in your lives and everything that he's done over the past year for you. I will do my best to put out a couple shorts based on some of my past existing videos. And then it will be back to regular uploads on January 6th. I think I've got some really exciting stuff that you're going to enjoy. So I'm excited for you to hear it. Thank you so much for watching all these, by the way. I don't say that enough, but thank you for being at this channel. Thank you for clicking and commenting, especially. I really do enjoy interacting with people in the comments. I learn about new music through these comments. I get I get recommendations for songs to check out. So I appreciate all of it. Yeah, keep it up. I really enjoy that. So I hope that you enjoyed this song, and I will see you next year. Bye. How to steal money with AI and get away with it. No, no. I'm not going to do that. These lights are a little warm when they're all over you, huh?
This is much too hot. It's rather toasty, huh?
Do I have any more? Just a lot of King in the Castle.
King in the castle, king in the castle.
I do not endorse that movie. I just happened to be.
So smug. Like he thought it was funny, like this.
Everything's a joke.
I know.
I am going to start sweating. I almost didn't expect that this would create this much heat, but it makes sense when you think about it for longer than 2 seconds. So that's on me. This is entirely voluntary. Nobody is paying me to do this. Nobody is forcing me to do this. This is who I am. This is what Christmas time is really about. I think if there's one thing that song taught us today, it's that this is what Christmas is about. And you were dead in your trespasses and sins, and once you and you were dead in the trespasses and sins, and you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which oh my goodness.